Hello, 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 hello. All right, give one moment. We're about to go online for the first time live. All right, all right. So today we're going to talk about what I am I have in my portfolio. But before we do that, just give me one moment while I get some things straightened out. All right, so stay tuned. We'll be straightening out a few things and we'll go from there. All right, so let's get going. So today I'm going to talk to you about what I have in my portfolio, and we're going to discuss my top five stocks and my top five cryptos as well, and with a couple bonus picks. So, what are the stocks that I'm going to be presenting today? Um, are mostly stocks that are, I'll call them the high beta stocks, and doesn't matter where you are across the world, you should be able to have access to all these stocks nowadays. And if you look at their performances, you'll see how these stocks have been performing. I also want to show the technical analysis aspect of these stocks as well, to see where these stocks are going. So I'm going to finish off with like doing a little bit technical analysis where we can look at the stock and see how the stock looks like and where we think the stock will be heading based on trend lines, and certain indicators are showing on the charts. So that's basically what we're going to talk about. Okay, so um, the first the first stock we are going to look at is Nvidia. What is Nvidia? And yeah, so we're going to talk about the first one, Nvidia. What is Nvidia? I'm sure you guys have all heard of Nvidia, and why did I get into Nvidia in the first place? So I'm sure If I ask any of you guys to explain who NVIDIA is, I'm sure um, you guys know exactly who that is. So NVIDIA is, the world leader in GPUs. And um, I remember back in uh, 2024 February, during the World Economic Forum, they had uh, the World Economic Forum in Switzerland, and Nvidia, and at that forum, we had the number one talked about thing was AI, and the number two talked about thing was crypto. And remember, the World Economic Forum is arguably the most powerful meeting that the world holds, and um, so if that's the most powerful meeting in the world, and these people were mainly talking about uh, AI, then what does that mean? That means that AI was going to be the biggest topic for these people. These are some of the most powerful people in the world. So if AI is going to be the most powerful uh, thing that these powerful people are going to be pushing into the world systems, then it was a no-brainer for me why NVIDIA was going to continue to do very well. Because without GPUs, AI is not possible. Without GPUs, AI is not possible. And so you need GPUs for AI to be possible. Okay. So once you understand that, right, it changes everything. Right. So now let's talk about that. So Nvidia, once again, they're the world leader in GPUs, which is the graphic processing unit, right? And now the backbone of the AI data centers, gaming, autonomous driving, and high performance computing, right? So they sell these super expensive chips, all right, to major companies like OpenAI, Microsoft, Meta, a lot of the Magnificent Seven who rely on this hardware. These companies have so much money to continue to purchase these items, right? So when that's the case, right, um, it's a no-brainer that Nvidia is going to, may continue to perform well, right? And that's why, even though its market cap it's so large, market value is already so large, about four point something $1 trillion, it's still going. It can still quadruple, from here. It can still double from here, even though it needs another 4 trillion to double, or 4 point whatever trillion to double. It can still do so because of how large it is. I believe it did like in a month, just a few months ago. I think it did like 50% over one to 3 month time frame. So Nvidia is definitely um, one of those stocks. We're going to look at Nvidia later. Okay, so for now, let's move on. Um, next, number two, let's look at Broadcom. Broadcom has a ticker called AVGO. So I'm gonna share this on my screen so we can look at it from there. Okay, so let me share my screen. So, and I'm gonna write them down as we go, so you can continue to see exactly what I'm talking about as I continue to discuss. Right. So the next one is, um, like I said, so I said Nvidia, right? So top five stocks, right? So let's put it here. Top five stocks. We mentioned uh, so we mentioned number one, Nvidia, right? So now number two, we said Broadcom. Nvidia, we know ticker AV. This is the ticker, right? And stock name. All right, so now let's continue. Okay. So let me merge these two cells. All right, as you can see, I know Excel very well. So now we talk about the Broadcom, right? And what is Broadcom, right? Broadcom is also designed semiconductors for networking, broadband, data centers, and wireless. Especially for Apple iPhone, right? So they basically play the two sides of the chip demand from AI and smartphones, right? And then they also have recurring revenue from software. So this is also another major one because if once again, they're also doing this chip area as well. So when I noticed that these guys were also very big on the chips, I did not waste time because um, these chip based companies, um, like TSMC, I'm not even going to talk about them. They're not even in my top list, but they're also part of that conversation of top stocks to look at, right? To go do your research on as well, the TSMC. But they didn't make my list, but I still mention them here just because of we're talking about chips. So they're less hyped. Broadcom's less hyped. They have a lesser market cap, but they've been moving like crazy. And if you go and do some research on them, you see how they've been performing. It's very impressive how Broadcom has done. And let's look at something else here. Let's go assets by market cap, right? If you look at assets by market cap, you can see like um, right, you can see all the assets by market cap, right? So sometimes this can help you see like um, how stocks have been performing overall, right? What assets in the world have been performing? Obviously gold has performed, um, and people have put a lot of money. That's what market cap represents, right? How much funding people have put into that asset, right? So market cap um, represents market value, which is the amount of money investments or investors have invested in the stock of that asset. Right. So you can see that yesterday's performances, market rebounds from a slump during the week. Right. Tesla did pretty well. Right. You can see Broadcom right there, $1.38 trillion in market cap. TSMC is right behind them now. Right. So it's becoming very competitive for this. Here's a number one chip producing company, right? You see where Bitcoin is competing with Amazon, right? It crossed Amazon the other day, crossed Google the other day, just dropped down now, right? So it's a very volatile Bitcoin, but it's definitely going to cross these two soon, very soon, right? Probably less than a month. It's going to be back up to the fifth, and then it's gonna chase Apple and Microsoft. It may take a while to catch Nvidia, but it's definitely going to be in the top three, probably this year. Let's go on. What's my next stock? My next stock is probably one of my favorite of all time. Right, stocks right now. It's probably my number one stock. So remember, this is not a ranking. So let me move the numbers here. Um, this is probably my favorite stock right now because it does everything. All right. It's one of my favorite stocks, and I'm gonna present that stock. What is it? It's called Palantir. Palantir. So Palantir is um, just an amazing stock. All right. So And if you look at Palantir and you try to figure out what do they do, you understand why Palantir is so valuable, right? Palantir, where are they on this list, right? They have a small market cap compared to these big dogs. So let's look at Palantir right here, and you can see um, Palantir. Where are they? I believe they're in 60 something here. Let's look. Let's find, there they are, 29. Wow. All right, so they moved to 29. All right, $376 billion in market cap, and they are 158 in price, right? So these guys have just been growing so fast. It's unbelievable. What did they do? They're AI driven data center analytics platform serving governments, defense, enterprises, helps organizations make decisions and massive data sets, right? So um, the reason why they're so valuable is because they're like unmatched in the government contracts, right? Um, and intelligence and so on, right? So they have so much government contracts, and Wall Street sees them as a top beneficiary of AI adoption across the industry. So this is probably my number one stock right now is Palantir. Palantir, and yeah, I mean, it makes sense why they're my number one stocks because what I just showed you, right? Because of what I just showed you. So make sure to definitely take a look at Palantir and see and try to figure out like why it's so valuable, and do a little bit of research on Palantir because it's going to be worth your time. And yeah, so let's move on. Let's move on. Let's look at the next one. Vistra. So let me put Palantir. Next one I have here is Vistra. You can go look at that as well. Their ticker is VST. Okay. Um, I'm showing you all this because we're still in a bull market, and I don't think the bull market has ended yet. I don't even think we're close to an end of the bull market. So we have a long way to go. And so once the bull market hits its stride, its final phase, then we can begin to um, take profits and get out. But in the meantime, we have a long way to go, in my opinion. And so, even though prices look high right now, I'm still buying as much as I can. So that's why I'm sharing this right now, so you can know and do your own research. Because everything I say here is not financial advice. It's up to you to do your own research. Okay, so Vistra, VST, what does it do? It's a U.S. Power generation and retail electricity provider, and including renewables and energy storage. So this is what Vistra does, and the reason why they're valuable is because as a AI as AI data centers boom, demand for electricity skyrockets. Right, companies like Vistra supply that power, benefiting directly. You see how they all tie back to AI and data centers and GPUs and all that. So you see, they're all connected, right, into this whole tech industry. That's why Nasdaq does so well, right? Um, Next, let's look at um, my other one, Tesla, and why Tesla will do well. Okay, um, Tesla does is the EV leader, right? Electric vehicle leader, battery storage, plus solar, plus AI robotics, also developing supercomputers for AI training, right? The cars, right? So they're not just a car company, an AI plus energy company with self-driving ambition and massive storage solutions and robotics, right? So Tesla rally when the market shifts to risk on innovation themes, AI plus EV plus robotics give Tesla multiple upside catalysts. So um, let's talk about Tesla. So Tesla, um, I think they may lead in this area of AI robotics. They may be one of the top companies when it comes to flying cars in the future. I know China. I know China has their own stuff going on as well, but Tesla has the richest man in the world backing them, and I think they're going to be the first to create the robotics where I think they've already done it, right? They just haven't released those things, but you can go see the Optimus um, robots, and yeah, they just have a long-term bright future for Tesla. So go check out that as well. Now let's do a few bonus picks that I want to for the stock side. So those are my top five, and then some honorable mentions. Bonus I will mention, which I also hold, is VRT, which is VRT is basically Vertiv. They provide power and cooling infrastructure for data centers critical for AI expansion since data center consume huge energy. So that's Vertiv, all right? So go take a look at them. Their stocks are have done well, it's extremely well. I think in 2024 they were in the top three performing um, S&P 500 stock. So go figure, right? Another one that I think is good is called MAGS, MAGS, which is for like Magnificent Seven. I believe it was BlackRock. They created this. Uh, that created this ETF called MAGS, and it's a basket of the Magnificent Seven with some other um, risk uh, betas or um, risk. What's the word? Sort of to balance the risk, they put some other things in there, and um, it's a good it's a good one just to sort of keep your risk low, because you're only dealing with the huge mag sevens. So even though they move pretty well, um, I think the volatility on those are not too bad. So and then let's look at the next one I have is Circle USDC stablecoin issuer, right? That is now public, right? So Wall Street can buy them now, and they've done pretty well since they launched. I know they pulled back tremendously, but this is a long term thing that I like about UDC because the stablecoin market is going to do very well. So that's why I went with Circle because I know the stablecoin industry is. Scott Besson said, the U.S. Treasury Secretary, Secretary of Treasury said that the stablecoin industry will go up to about 3.7 trillion. So Circle currently has about 20 one one fourth to one fifth of the stablecoin market. So if you do one fourth, one fifth of the stablecoin market at 3.7 trillion market cap, then you can calculate the forecasted price, right? So from here, um, Circle can do double digit X's, right? Growth, right? Whether it's 10, 11, 12, whatever, 14 X from here based on that forecast, based on what Scott Besson said, based on the market share that Circle has. That's how you can calculate the um, potential forecasted amount of market cap it can do from here, right? Which translates to the price, which translates to the gains, and so on. So before we get to the chart, let me give you two more bonuses. So Bullish just did their IPO, right? I believe it's BLSH, and it's a crypto exchange backed by Block One and Peter Thiel. If you know, Peter Thiel is the CEO of Palantir, um, and so that's that. I mean, not the CEO, but founder of Palantir. And if institutional adoption of crypto accelerates, exchanges will win, right? So Bullish is jumping in because look at Coinbase. Look how well Coinbase stock has done. So Coinbase stock has done very well. Robinhood as well. These are also honorable mentions to that I can put in there as well. Um, and then last but not least, MicroStrategy. Since we're talking about stocks, I'm gonna put MicroStrategy. Michael Saylor is the man, and and you know, and we got to give a shout out to MicroStrategy, who has turned their company into a um, Bitcoin company that just buy Bitcoin and continue to buy more and more and more and more as much as they can. So the largest corporate holder of Bitcoin at enormous amounts functions as a leveraged Bitcoin ETF. So they basically are leveraged in Bitcoin ETF. So whatever Bitcoin does, they do a 2x of that. So MicroStrategy is one of my favorite in the equities world, right? It's one of my favorites. So because of what because I know we're in a bull market and I know how um, this stock will do in the future. So now let's talk about the crypto side before I even get to the chart. Let's talk about crypto side and then we'll get into the charts. Okay, so um, let's look at how the cryptos will do. Let's look at that. Um, so obviously we all know. Um, let's stop. Even though I don't consider Bitcoin a crypto, so I'm going to say um, I'm going to use the word digital assets because I don't want to use the word crypto because Bitcoin is going to be part of that, and Bitcoin is technically it is its own class. So I'm going to say digital assets slash blockchain. I think that's a better category term to use. Digital assets slash blockchain. All right, so let's do that, right? And let's look at number one. Obviously, you already know what it is. It's all right, name, ticker. We have Bitcoin BTC, right? So let's talk about that real quick. You guys already know that follow my channel. That I'm a Bitcoin enthusiast, and I think Bitcoin, because of the limited supply, obviously 21 million, and it's a store value and a hedge against inflation and fiat debasement. Um, what does that mean? Fiat debasement is every time governments print, they continue to devalue your currency. Every time governments print, they continue to devalue your money, and that's their way to get out of their issues, right? So they continue to print more without having the production to back it. So as they do that, inflation rises, currency devalues, and so Bitcoin is sort of like the hedge against that, right? So the more they do that, the more Bitcoin thrives. So and they have to keep doing it because that's just the way they're set up. And so once you understand that, you're like, okay, well, then I need to have some of this Bitcoin stuff because that's just the way these governments operate, right? So that's why BTC is my number one digital asset, and institutional adoption obviously is booming via the ETFs, the scarcity, right? Remember, market cap divided by circulating supply. All right, market capitalization divided by um, supply equals price. All right, so if you understand this formula, then you understand why Bitcoin is so valuable. Divided by supply, right, equals price. And so let's say, so once you understand that market capitalization divided by price equals um, equals price, right? You understand that, okay, well, then if the market cap of Bitcoin keeps going up and the supply is limited to 21 million, right? Then the price should ever forever go up, right? So because this is limited, right? And so in simple division, right? Mathematics, right? When the numerator keeps going up and the denominator um, goes down, right? Numerator keeps going up and denominator stays the same. The answer here keeps going up, right? If you want to reduce price, if you keep increasing supply and you keep market cap the same, price goes down, right? That's just simple math, right? So that's how math works. So if you understand that and you understand that Bitcoin is limited to 21 million maximum supply, then you understand that as market cap demand goes up, people keep buying, the price will go up. You see, the problem with gold is that gold, every time they mine gold, this number here, all right, anytime they mine gold, this number here increases. And when this number increases significantly more than this, the price goes down. All right, when people sell, the supply increases. When people sell into the market, the supply increases. So then market cap has to go up more than the sale amount of supply for the price to go up. Okay, so think about that. Think about that. This is the golden formula right here. Okay, think about that as to why gold with such a huge market cap. Look at the market cap of gold, 22 trillion, 23, almost 23 trillion. But the price is right. If this was Bitcoin with 24 trillion, the price would be over $1 million. Why? Because of the formula I told you right here. Because if you put this market cap here into here, and you divide it by the supply of gold, which we don't see here, right? You would get this price. Or you can do it the other way. You can put the market cap and then divide it by the price, um, or multiply by the price. You'll get the amount of supply, right? You multiply it by the price, you get the amount of supply as well. So that's another way to get to the supply. Yeah, so we can do that math if you want, but we're not gonna do it right now. So BTC, number one. Number two, ETH, Ethereum. The reason why I had to put ETH in there is because ETH has been very impressive. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't think ETH was gonna be so good. I didn't think ETH was gonna perform as well as it has done so far because it was doing pretty bad. But recently it's done so well because it's like institutions have sort of like agreed that Ethereum is the way to go, you know, and a lot of institutions have sort of adopted that idea that um, that ETH is going to be their top pick for um, institutional blockchain to do business on, right? Because a lot of companies are planning to do business on the blockchain. A lot of banks and so on and institutions, and so Bitcoin is not really meant for that. Bitcoin is more like gold, store value, and all that stuff. So ETH is gonna be like, if Bitcoin is gold, ETH is like oil, right? ETH is gonna be like the thing they're gonna transact with around the world, right? Or so um, ETH is slow compared to Solana, but I guess institutions have the confidence of that it doesn't shut down and it's very secure. So they rather go for the security of it not shutting down and um, all of that versus the speed of Solana. So a lot of institutions have adopted Ethereum, so that's why people are buying ETH because of that use case. So ETH is going to do what's a smart contract platform performing DeFi and most of Web3, right? So transition to proof of stake, low energy, generating yield staking, and is the backbone of decentralized finance. So ETH is the tech stock of crypto scales with innovation. So that's Ethereum. Next, let's look at Solana. That's my next one. All right. Um, why I went heavy on SOAP. All right, um, high speed blockchain for DeFi, NFTs, and payments, known for ultra low speed, low fees, and speed. So that's why I think a lot of retail prefer Solana. So Solana is the winner for retail, ETH is the winner for institutions. So huge developer in the ecosystem, and so on. And the market darling of this cycle, many view it as the Ethereum killer, right? That's how people view um, this. Now let's look at next one, XRP, right? Ripples, right? XRP. So XRP is um, the one, I think, the winner in the payment space. So it's gonna be used for a lot of payments worldwide. Lots of institutions. I think over 300 institutions have already adopted XRP, doing business already with them. So XRP is a no-brainer. It's one of the biggest use cases in all of crypto because of the payments side. So if banks continue to adopt it, XRP could see ridiculous rallies, and they're backed by a pretty big company as well. So Ripples is doing other things, right? So stable coins and so on and so on. So they're an amazing pick. XRP, I think they'll do very well. And then Sui. What is Sui? Sui is a layer one blockchain focusing on scalability, gaming, and digital assets. Right. So Sui's is like Solana, but a newer version. So it's one of my favorite picks as well. So if gaming and metaverse adoption grows, Sui could explode. Right. So all that stuff is built on Sui and competes with Solana speed and it's just a great pick overall. So let's give you some um, other honorable picks. Okay, so bonus Pendle. What is Pendle? Pendle is a tokenized trades future yield, thriving in DeFi and real yield narrative. So Pendle, they are RWA play, which is real world assets. They're very big on that, and they have a lot of backers like BlackRock and a whole bunch of large um, uh, companies and VCs that are backing them. So when I see that, I'm excited to go into Pendle as well, right? So Pendle's a huge one for the RWA play, and Ondo is the next one for RWA play, also connected to BlackRock. These were Goldman Sachs folks that branched off to create Ondo tokenized US treasuries and bonds, Virgin TradFi, and crypto. Massive institutional angle. Sorry, I sound so congested today. It's been a tough, busy week and very tiring. And then my um, last two bonus picks are Chainlink, which is also a big tokenized. They're also big in the tokenized world. Um, they are Oracle network that connects blockchains to real world data, example prices, interest rates, and so on. So DeFi cannot function without reliable data feeds. Link is the undisputed leader in that space. So that's their use case there. And then last but not least, Tau, right? They call Bitenzer Tau. So decentralized AI network merges AI plus crypto, a narrative with huge upside this bull market. So they bring the two of AI and crypto. So they basically allow people to do AIs to function, to help AI function on the blockchain network and connect many of them together. So think about like AI, right? Like artificial intelligence. And the issues with AI is that they're limited to what you feed them. But Tau is a blockchain that allows AIs to be built to be on that, uh, on the blockchain. And so when you have several AIs on the blockchain, they're able to share knowledge with each other, right? Which makes the brain of that AI a lot bigger, than just to what is being fed. So that's the beautiful thing about the Tensor and why Bitenzer can do very well because of that usage, right? So those are the plays there that I just mentioned, um, and these are the picks. So we're now going to go into the charts, okay, and look at the charts and see um, how these things look like on the charts. All right, so maybe we're going to start with Bitcoin, but before we do, um, let me grab some water and then we'll look at the play there. Okay. Okay. Thanks for the message. I didn't even look at this message here. Somebody said they couldn't see the. Okay. I think it's more visible now. Right. Let's see. Is it more visible now? Right. I think you can see it a little better now. Um, so this is the list, and now we're gonna talk about. We're gonna look at the charts now as to see what's going on with these picks that I just mentioned, and to see how they look on the charts, right? So technical analysis, maybe you can learn something here as well if you don't understand technical analysis. So let's take a look at these picks and see how they look. So I'm going to start off with Bitcoin. Let me move this out of the way. Um, I don't know why this Fox background is on my screen, but um, I don't own a pet. Um, Nothing wrong with that. But so let's look at the first one right here. So let's look at this, right? Bitcoin. All right. So let's look at Bitcoin and see how the charts. What are the charts saying here? Um, let's see if we can add any other indicators. MACD. Let's see. Okay, so so it looks like right now Bitcoin is dropping, right? So you see these trend lines that I put over here, right? This used to be the death line of Bitcoin, You see, every time it reaches this level here, it crashes, and that's the end of bull market. And then it goes all the way down to the EMA of 200 EMA. Usually, is where it ends. So that's basically what's going on, right? So here we hit that line, and people were thinking, "Oh, Bitcoin is going to end at this line once again." Right? When it hit that line right here, people said that was the end. It hit that, tested it again, said that was the end, and it went drop all the way down to 74. Right? And then, but this is a new cycle. This market is different from the last. Right? It's not the same. And then it came back again because it's institutionally driven. So it's not the same as what it used to be. Okay, um, so now you can see that as it goes crosses over this line, it's now using this line as a support. What does that mean? Um, when it's resistance means when it hits like a level, it's like a ceiling, right? That's a resistance level, right? And these resistance levels are created through price action. So usually when traders and investors reach a certain price, a lot of them begin to get out because they think that's where it's going to end, right? And so when you look at this, you can see that this trend line is where the traders and investors believe is the end. But this time it's institutionally driven. So all that is no longer the case because the institutions are just buying and buying for the sake of preservation of their assets, debasement of currency, and all those things that I mentioned earlier. So now um, it looks like it's like finding support at that level, right? And there's two lines because one is on the close of the weekly and one is on the just the high of um those weekly price points, right? And it went all the way down this week to touch that new support and it's going back up. So what's going to happen is it's going to use this as the floor now, which is amazing, right? What used to be the ceiling is now the floor, right? And that's what we want. That's what we want to see, right? So it's going to keep going up like this, and so soon we're going to reach this level right here, 131, at the Fibonacci retracements. And this is a level that's going to be tough to break. So once you reach 131, it's going to like pull back a little bit and then try to break through. And then it's probably going to go down all the way up to 190 will be the next target, right? So that's my next target here, 190 to 200 range for this year. And I think it's all going to pick up during this Q4, fourth quarter. So stay tuned and you're going to see how Bitcoin um, runs very quickly in this fourth quarter. All right. It's just going to move very quickly. So again, people are going to doubt because they don't understand the market. That's totally fine. That's why I ask people to do their own research. But in the story of Noah in the Bible, Noah was building an ark, right? And God gave Noah a vision of to build an ark of what was to come in the future, right? There's going to be a flood. And he continued to build and build and build and told and people no one really listened and he continued to build. And until it was done, when it was done, it rained like crazy and it flooded the world. And and people suffered, right? So I'm not saying this is the case here, but this is similar analogy here is that I started talking about like how Bitcoin was going to keep going up. I remember like with my friends, it was like around 20,000. And then at 40,000, when the ETFs were approved, I was like, oh my gosh, this thing's going to run. And that's when I like really understood like why this thing's going to do well. This is around 40,000. We're at 114 now. All right. So, um, yeah. So go figure. And by the end of the year, I think we're going to hit around 200, between that 190 to 200 or 180 to 200 zone. I think by the end of the year, 2026 is also another good year in the markets. And I can explain why, but I'm not going to explain why right now. But um, why 2026 will do well. That's not for today. But so that's BTC. Now let's look at um, Ethereum. Let's look at Ethereum. So same thing, right? Ethereum, right? If you look at Ethereum from a long term standpoint, right? Let's look at the weekly chart. You can see that ETH. Let's see if I can get another indicator here. No, it's not letting me have that in there. So if you look at ETH, let me see. Let me use another chart here. Let's look at Kraken charts. Okay. Let's look at this. Okay. Let's use Explorer Pro right now. And let's look at the charts here. Okay. So ETH, you see these trend line right here? It's showing this is where the last price, November 2021, at the top of the bull market. We hit this high of $4,867. That was the high where Ethereum then pulled back all the way down to $907, right? But $900, it pulled back from here all the way down. So now when we look at ETH, we can see like this is the highest point right here. And we reached that point now, right? And we pull back and so on, right? And this is the actual higher point. So that's where we're at now, right? So ETH actually crossed that point yesterday, right? We crossed above this number. You can see the numbers over here when I scroll, okay? It says the high is what? 4,886 is the high. We crossed that high now, right? So we broke through it. So if you understand that, right? Let's look at Ethereum. All right. Let's look at it from this chart here. All right, it even looks better here, right? So these are my things that I like to look at here. Okay. This is RSI measuring momentum. Okay. It's measuring how much momentum is going on. Okay. And it's showing like that the momentum's above 73. Whenever you're above 50%, that means there's a lot of buyers in the market. I also added stochastics, right? Which is also showing when this stochastic, then the blue line is above the red line. Stochastic, let me zoom in for you. When the blue line right here is above the red line, means the bulls are winning. When the blue line is below, means the bears are winning. Means it's going down, right? So you can see as the market went down here, down. So the stochastic, you see, down. RSI is below 50, down. My other favorite one, MACD. MACD, you see these histograms are going down smaller, all the way down below zero, which is the red. That means it's going down. The market is going down, right? And then I, on top of that, I throw on some trend lines, right? These are the trend lines that are on there, right? So these trend lines are showing like where price struggles to bounce at, right? Whenever it reaches these prices, it struggles, right? So it reaches price, but it went down, hit this price, down, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4 around here. And then here, 5 went down and broke through. So now we're at the all-time high of Ethereum. All right. So Ethereum is at right here, the all-time high price. We crossed it, we pulled back below now. So we're battling. It's a battle around this price now. So if ETH crosses this, it's gone into discovery zone and it's gonna keep running till the bull market is over. So that's Ethereum for you. And everything looks bullish, as you can see, for Ethereum, right? It looks pretty good, right? Volume is up, it's green. MACD up, up, green. Stochastics, blues above, good. This is above 50%. Everything looks good. It's aligned. So let's do the same for Bitcoin and let's look. All right. Bitcoin pulled back, right? You see the histograms was going down. This was going, the stochastic was going down. RSI was going pointing down. It's not below 50 yet, which is good. So the only thing we need here now to confirm us to push back up real quickly is stochastics, right? So when stochastics begins to go back up, when this blue crosses above the red again, and this histograms begin to turn green and go up again and get bigger greens, then it's a clear sign that Bitcoin is pumping back up again, right? So right now we can see it's struggling right here at this price. Why? Because the bears knows that if we clear the zone here, remember this was the death line of Bitcoin. If we clear the zone here, it's a big issue for the bears. Remember, the bears want the price to go down, the bulls want the price to go up, and obviously Bitcoin is all usually is bullish, especially when the bull market. So it's not wise for bears to try to get the markets to go down. It's not wise at all because we're in a bull market, and so they're gonna get wrecked, and that's just what's gonna happen. So it makes no sense to be a bear in this economic climate. We're in a bull market. So when you see this, it's called consolation. All right, it's consolidated up and down, up and down, up and down, and then it's gonna finally break out. So here, consolidating again. That's what happened here when we hit the 100,000. 100,000 was a huge psychological price. I mean, here when we broke the all-time high first, it consolidated, struggle, and then eventually we broke through, right? And then here when we hit the 100,000, same thing. It was a very tough. Here was a tough psychological level. Why? Because it's like you're hitting the all-time high, new all-time high. The last bull market, the price all-time high was 69,000 right here, 2021 November. And now we crossed the all-time high so early in the year, or I'm back in like when? December? No, this is 100,000 right here. We crossed the all-time high at 73 right here back in March 2024. So early. So now, and then it consolidated for a long time. And then it broke through and it reached another psychological level, which is very hard to break. Consolidated, and then crashed down, right? And then here, now we reach another psychological level. Now it's consolidating. And then once it clears this, I think we're golden, right? It's not going to run up to 200. It's going to be the next psychological level, or where this Fibonacci retracement number is right here, 170 to 200. It's going to be the next psychological level, right? So that's where we're at right now, and it looks good, right? So I'm just waiting for this to turn up, and then we go up. Let's look at Solana, my other one that I mentioned earlier, right? So let's look at Solana. Solana, let's look at that. Solana's chart, it looks good. Okay. Stochastics up on the weekly, RSI up above 50. Volume looks good. MACD up, green histograms, blue up above the red. Let's look at the trend line and Fibonacci retracements. You guys know what Fibonacci retracements are. Let's put that on. What's for Fibonacci retracements? I'm not going to explain what they are right now, but so Fibonacci retracement, we put it on. These are levels where price reacts to every time it hits those levels, right? So we're crossing that, And then once we get over this Fibonacci level right here, um, the 0.786, we're going to go up to 265 and then beyond and so on. So I believe we're going to go up and up and up and up and up and up and up. So, but for now, you can see things look good here. All right, based on technical analysis. You see those? You see what those things are showing? It looks pretty good to me. All right. And if we look here, this is what's going on right here. All right. This is called the broadening wedge. So it's broadening. So the next level here, before we can pull back a little bit, I think we're going to go all the way and then maybe pull back and try to go through again. So it looks good. It looks good to me. And this is Solana. Things are looking good, right? Things are looking good. But remember, in crypto, everything surrounds BTC. Everything runs around BTC. Let's look at XRP. XRP is similar to Solana, right? RSI is above 50, and stochastic is going down, which is not good. All right, we need the blue to cross up, and then we can confirm back up. This is okay. Blue's above red in MACD, and this is going. We need this to start going up. So here it's consolidating still. It's not clear picture yet. Okay, it's not a clear picture, so we'll have to wait a little bit longer to see how it looks on that front. SUI. Let's look at SUI. All right, let's look at SUI. SUI. Let's look at SUI. So SUI, we can see SUI, how SUI is behaving, right? If you put the trend lines on, you can see how this trend level right here, this is where SUI finds support. And in terms of resistance, all right, this is where it's found resistance. All right, so support resistance. So SUI has done that and that. So that's basically what's going on with SUI right now. So if you look at it from this lens here, you can see that it's found support here, and it's looking like it's about to push back up real quick. And then once this cross, back up, we're fully confirmed the blue cross. The blue cross is the orange here, and here it's already up, and here it's okay. So it's not clear yet, but it looks good. Let's look at the bonus place. Let's look at Pendle. Pendle. What's going on? Pendle technical analysis. Let's look at Pendle. Pendle, everything looks good. We don't see too much, but it's looking good on Pendle. Technical analysis looks good. We don't have to spend too much time on Pendle. We've already talked about Pendle. So let's look at Ondo, my other play. Technical analysis on Ondo. Ondo is looking like it's about to cross up on the stochastic right here. Here it looks good. We're just waiting for this to confirm, right? Ondo has gone down, 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 and now it's looking like it's about to bounce off this resistance line. Okay, so Ondo's not fully clear, but not too bad. Let's look at Link, Chainlink. Was my other bonus play. Chainlink has ran up very well, right? So if you look at Chainlink, you can see how it's been moving, and you can look at this trend line to see where it bounces off at the bottom, right? And then on this side, you can also see how it looks like on the upside, right? So it's going to keep going to this resistance level, and which is up here somewhere, right? So Chainlink has, looks good on every front, up, 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 up. Everything looks good with Chainlink. And then lastly, Tau Betenzer, right? If you look at Tau, let's see how it's been doing. Um, on a weekly, you can see that this is the resistance level right here. Whenever it bounces this price, it starts to be bought up. And on on the other front here, when it reached here, it was having a resistance level, right? So now it consolidates between these two zones, right? It went here, touched whatever, and then touch here. Now touch this line. So now when it reaches here and breaks out, it can keep going up all the way to this level again, and then this level again. And that's really how it's gonna play out. This level and this level. So it's gonna break out of this and then reach here, and it's gonna make struggle here and then break through and then reach here before it continues. So we're waiting for this blue to cross above stochastics, and this is a 48, which is not good. It needs to get above 50. So these tell you exactly like with good precision how the markets look like. You know, volume doesn't look good because it's at red, but we'll see. All right, so we'll see. So this is red, not looking good as well, like I showed you. Let's look at this one. The volume, right? The volume looks green, which is good, right? Solana. So that's it for the crypto. So let's see if I can pull up um, the stocks on here. Right, let's see if I can get stocks. Let's look for stocks. Let's see if I can get the stocks over here. So, Nvidia. Let's look for Nvidia. Let's look for Nvidia. So there it is. Let's like this. So my stock pick. So let's look at Nvidia, and then go from there. Okay, so let's look at Nvidia as well. So Nvidia, I mentioned that to you earlier. How does that look like right now? Right, it was going up, 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 stuck up. Right, you see, and now this thing is pulling back a little bit. Right, because it's been overbought for so long. Right, so it's not looking that bad. Right, with Nvidia, based on technical analysis. You know, it looks good. It's just been overbought, and it looks like it wants to correct itself. Right, so that's basically what's going on in Nvidia. Nvidia doesn't look bad, but um, yeah. Let's see. The next area here to look at is um, broadband. Let's look at broadband. AVGO. There it is, right here. So broadband, same thing. It's like overbought, and it's like just been up and up and up and up, right, for so long. Right, so it wants to pull back a little bit before it continues. Right. Um, let's look at Palantir. Palantir, same thing. And now it's going down. You see everything is going down here, down, down, down. Stokes down, Stoke RSI down, and that's basically what's going on with Palantir. It shot up for so long, right? It has to pull back, and then it's going to go back up again, right? So that's where Palantir is technical analysis wise. Let's look at Vistra. If that shows up, yep, VST, and then we'll look at Tesla after. So Vistra is going this way, down, 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 down as well, right? It's pulling back before it continues back its trend because it's moved up for so long, right? So many weeks. You look at that. of just since March, since April. After the whole tariff top, it's been up, 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 and now pulling back, and then before it continues, it's moved back up again. And then Tesla, you see Tesla, it's on an up. You see this thing showing up, right? These green are up. This is our size up. Everything's up. So Tesla's looking good in terms of going up, up and away. Yeah. So, um, and you can see this price level where it reacts to. So it bounces there, right? And then up here, you can also see like over the recent weeks where it's struggled past right there. All right, so now it's breaking through that resistance level, and once it breaks through here, it's probably going to go up to all the way back to $450 and beyond. So that's Tesla, and that's what's going on as well with Tesla. And let's look at MicroStrategy as well in the stock side. And right, it's the Bitcoin equity. All right, so when you analyze MicroStrategy, you can see that at this price, this trend line is where it reacts to. And then you can see the price line where it struggles at. Right here. Right there. So around here it struggles, right? So you see it goes boom, 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 and then it goes back. So now, while it continues to consolidate, it's gonna now once try to go back up here and then try to break this level. Once it breaks it, so look at think of a technical analysis like a bull, right? The bull goes tries to break the door, and it struggles to break the door. It takes a step back, and then runs up again, right? And then it goes boom, tries to break it, doesn't. I mean, backs up again. Let me try. Boom, tries to break it, struggle. Let me back up again, and then you know, what I mean, so eventually it's gonna break if it keeps trying. All right, so keeps trying, keeps trying, keeps trying, and then eventually it's gonna break it. Once it breaks, it's gonna go all the way to the new all-time high, which is gonna be against a resistance level up here, right? That's because that's how it happened when last time it reached this price. It pulled all the way back. That's 500 and whatever, 543. Pulled back. So now once it hits 543 again, it's going to be another battle over there, right? So right now, you know, it's going to cross here before it goes back up. So we're waiting to see what happens on these. These are not looking good right now because they're down, right? RSI is below 50. Stochastic is blues below. This is red and down. Everything is down. But the reason why the price is going up is because it hits this resistance level, trend line, and that's why it hit that level and then bounced back up. A lot of people are buying. So these indicators are lagging. They're going to catch up to what's going on with the price. So if I look at it at the daily level, I can see on a daily chart that things started going back up already. See, it's starting to go up, starting to go up, crossed over. It's not yet confirmed, but they're all starting to look up. All right, so again, it's based off of Bitcoin, so we can see everything that's going to happen with MicroStrategy based on Bitcoin. All right, so so that's that. So let me take a quick 2-minute break. Let me grab some water. I'll be right back. Hi, yeah, so I'm back. Sorry, I was talking, you couldn't hear me, but Yasmin, I don't know if you can see this the screen very well again, but hopefully everything can be seen visibly now with all this stuff that I put up on Excel. I'm not sure if you're still on, but yeah, you should be able to see everything clearly. But so I'm just going to talk to you now. I finished showing you all my picks, and I'm just going to talk to you. These are things I'm invested in heavily, and so I'm not just saying and sharing this, but I'm doing what I'm saying. So again, it's not financial advice. Do your own research and do what you need to do. But I'm sharing all this beautiful information, and the bull market is just getting started. So, and how do I know that? Again, I'm going to share a lot of wonderful stuff to you guys. So, right, whether you take it or leave it, it's up to you. But I'm going to come back in a year or so and reference back to all these things. That's what I did with Bitcoin, right? So I was telling people at 40, right, and I went back and referenced to them when I was telling them. So now I'm showing you now. So my top picks, and now you can look at it a year from now and see how they have done. Similar to um, if you look at let's look at Palantir for example, right? So Palantir. So if you look at this for example, look at Palantir for example. So when you look at a stock like Palantir, and you scroll down and you look at this, look at the price in 1 year, 387%, right? That's a um about a 4x, right? And so um when is the bull market going to end? So let me show you why I believe the bull market will keep going until 2026. So this is something here that we use to identify what's going on with interest rates. Remember, when the Feds cut interest rates, it's very bullish. It's very um, big. And so right now, whereas we can see 75% chance they're going to cut the rates, right? And then I can go on and look at this in for the whole year, for the whole year and a half from now, forecast by this CME group, which does a good job showing the future uh, rate cuts. So you can see here that they're looking to cut rates in September, high probability to cut it by 0.25. That's bullish for the market. All right. And it looks like there's a high probability they'll do it. If they don't do it in this September, they'll do it in October for sure. Right. So, but it looks like they will do it in September and then they'll maintain it at that same level in October. But there's a 22% chance they'll cut it again, right? But this changes every month or every day as we get closer. New information happens. So I keep looking at this. But right now, as we can see, the forecast is that there's only cuts. This is how they're looking at it. There's only cuts or maintaining the rate, right? So there's nothing here showing that they're going to raise rates, right? And the probability of raising rates is in 2026 is right here, right? Sometime in 2026, right? It's 18%. Raising rates, right? Or maintaining rates right here, right? It's maintaining, right? Is 45% or cutting, right? So it looks like they're going to keep cutting all the way to the end of fall 2026, right? Maintaining and cutting. So that tells me that based on that, liquidity is going to keep coming into the market all the way into late 2026. So when will this bull market end? I think it's going to be late 2026. I mean, once I start seeing the 2027 information, I can even go further to first quarter 2027. Right now, I think you can see the way these people are forecasting with high accuracy. These people are very good. It's telling me that you know this can keep going on all the way to 2026. So late 2026. So right now the fund hasn't really started, and Bitcoin's at 100. Already crossed $124,000, and we haven't even really reached the best part of the market yet, right? So, and then they're also talking about having a new Federal Reserve chair in May, around here, right? Around here, right after this meeting in May, they're gonna have a new Fed chair. So when a new Fed chair comes, that person may want to even cut more than down to 3 basis points, all right? Maybe down to 1%. All right. So when will the bull market end? I think late 2026, to be honest. And supported by this data here, and supported by quantitative easing schedule or future. When you go look at what the Feds are saying about the future, when you go look at what the Europeans are forecasting with their interest rates as well, the Europeans are looking to cut all the way to 2026, late 2026. And that's the forecast of the European Central Bank as well. So these are the biggest banks, relevant banks, and Japan doesn't really raise much rates. So we're good there. Germany is another major economy that is also very relevant to all of this and global money supply and all that stuff. So once all those things begin changing directions, global M2 money supply, and all those things like that, then we can begin to look at things differently, right? Global M2 money supply. Let's look for that chart somewhere. I'm sure it exists somewhere. Let's look for that chart and see how it looks like. So global money M2 supply is right here. And the latest information is August 22. It's a dip, right, on there. And you can see, all right, how it operates. Global money M2 supply. All right, you can see the locals amounts and you can see the global. Right, it dipped a little bit. Bitcoin is a 3-month lag. Right, so we can put it on with Nasdaq. 3-month lag, 3-month lag, BTC right here. This is beautiful, right? Let me bookmark this and save this. This is beautiful. You know, current M2 money supply 95 billion dollars right now, right? They printed. Okay, so this is beautiful. Somebody created this and shared it to the world. Right? It's beautiful. Right? So you can see with the 3-month lag how it looks like. Right? And we can look at Fed balance sheet as well, right? What's going on with that, right? So if they keep selling to the market, then they're taking liquidity out. When they keep buying, they put liquidity back, and liquidity is what pushes the market up. So over the past year, Federal Reserve holdings of Treasury have declined from this to that, right? Have fallen, blah, blah, blah. The others have decreased, blah, blah, blah. From this to that, total asset contracted from extending the quantitative tightening. So that means they're selling, right? The treasury. When they sell the treasuries, they're taking liquidity out of the markets. People are buying, institutions are buying, and that sucks the liquidity out of the market, which is not good, right? So when they reduce the amount that they sell, which helps, right? And which helps when they reduce the amount that they're selling. So that's what they've done recently since June. They've reduced the amount that they're selling at, right? Our reserve balances held by banks declined modestly, blah, 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 which is also good. Yeah, so this is all good information here to read to understand the liquidity, right? And then money supply as well, right? So when you see all of that, right, you're able to see what's going on, right? So this is the chart. M2 money supply with Bitcoin next to it. Global M2 money supply. 93. All right, so This is great stuff, right? Let's look at it from here. Another individual here has uh, also created this thing here for people to see global M2 money supply. This is great, right? This is great. It's showing Bitcoin price and M2 money supply. Global is 11 trillion. Yes, 111 trillion. That's a proper number. I think that's what this here meant. Um, total billions, 9, right? This is not correct. All right, so as we can see, Bitcoin price, global M2 money supply. Usually, global money M2 follows. Bitcoin follows that. So yeah, so that's basically what we can see there as well. Let's see one more time here, year to date, and we can see the numbers here as well. So things are looking up, and that's it for now. I'm gonna end it here, and thank you for tuning in. And I think I'm giving you all the alpha you need to succeed and to um, do well in this bull market. So once again, I'm going to refer back to this video later in the future, and I'll be doing this again tomorrow. And hopefully people do their own research and not to complain when they see people buying yachts, when people splurging money in a year from now, where the markets are going crazy and the markets are booming and people are making money and things and so on, and you know. They're gonna say, "Oh, I should have listened. I should have listened," but hey, it'll be too late, right? So don't get mad. Sometimes you gotta do your own research. You gotta put in the hard work, right? You reap what you sow, and that's just the way life is, right? You reap what you sow. So if you don't put in the work, don't get mad. When people that put in the work, um, thrive from that. So anyways, I think I'm going to end it here for today. And thank you for those that tuned in. Feel free to send me a message if you have any questions. Privately, if you want to send me a message on TikTok, you can send me a message there at Empower Capital. You can also email me at Sam at Empower Capital. That's Samuel at empowercapital.co. You can also message me there if you have any direct questions you want to ask me. So once again, thank you for tuning in, and stay blessed. All right, take care. Bye.